So automated email alerts can be from, for example, when you have new content published, an email goes out. When you have a new topic introduced to your website, email goes out. You have new members, email goes out. When a member posts new content on your site, email goes out. So find ways to use permission-based email to alert your members and your users whenever there's something going on that might be of interest to them. Also, manual email newsletters are great for building community, building blogs, blog alerts. You also want to do segmented mailings. One of the ways we grow, how do we attract 5,000 article submissions every single day? Through email. We provide educational-based email as well as segmented mailing. So for example, give you an example. We found that the mobile cell phone market was growing at a higher rate than other markets. And we've also found that at the same time that we were attracting a lot of traffic in mobile, cellular, that type of content, we also found that it was a high effective CPM, meaning we were making a lot of money. So we thought, okay, so let's find out how many members we have in that segment and how can we mail them and give them another reason to submit more content. And they do. You just ask them. Sequence, this is one of my favorite. One of the things that created the hugest impact this year for us in 2008 of getting our users to submit more content was sequence mailing, sequenced email. We created a 52-part email-based training series. It's free. It was for free, where we trained our members on how to engage our site. And so we found like 67% joined it, and because of it, they were submitting something like 27% more content on a monthly basis 6 weeks later. So use sequenced email. It's also called autoresponders for more training and engagement. Now, how can you retain your members? Let's see here. Remove barriers to user engagement. Oftentimes, the site structure is overlooked. Your site may be prohibiting user engagement. Facebook is a good example of this, where they're experimenting with new designs. So your site structure and how you structure the site and how you listen to the analytics that your site structure creates has a big impact as to whether or not your users engage with your site. You also want to focus on speed. If you do anything but get from this talk today, I hope you go back and look at your speed. I hope you benchmark your speed. I hope you look at your speed and find ways that you can invest a little bit ahead of the rest of your competitors and try to find ways to increase your speed, the speed that you serve your website, the speed you improve your content, the speed that you do your entire user experience. In the early days of Google, an engineer had found that every 200 milliseconds faster that they served up their website, they got a 15% bump in speed. Now, obviously, that can't be sustained. However, that idea that improving speed improves user experience and then therefore improves member engagement. And of course, usability studies, leveraging analytics. Simplicity rules. This is another, if you looked at my website, easyarticles.com, you would find that our website looks like it was made in 1997. And of course it wasn't. But we found that a simple website design that doesn't give everybody what they want, okay, yet gives a core message, gives a core deliverability for our users and for our authors, is better than providing everything that we couldn't say yes to. So it's okay to say no. In fact, I think that we're making more money today for every time we say no to a great opportunity than to say yes to. There's so many cool things to do, isn't there? There's so many fun things we could do with all the related things around our business, and we keep on saying no to all those things in order to say yes to the simple thing that works. So when you find what works, go deep in what works, okay? It's okay to say no to new features. New features originate from user suggestion. That means that every time we create a new feature, we never, as much as we come up with the cool ideas, our users really drive new features. Very few people enjoy learning, they like doing. So when you're talking, this is your user. Your users don't like learning how to deal with your site. They like the doing. They like the getting what they want, and they tune into what's in it for me. And of course, recognition and status are key motivators, and maybe even more so here than in the US, I'm not sure. But we do an awful lot of recognition. Expert author is one of our things, and those are key motivators to create what's your star rating, and then giving your users the ability to see how they rate in relation to others. Also motivate them to retain. Back up one. Uptime. You must demand services uptime. You know what uptime is? Uptime is when you have, is your server up or not? Okay? That was the uptime of the old way we used to think about uptime. Now we think about uptime, is our services up? meaning it's not okay to take your server down for database maintenance. That's not okay. Okay? It's not okay to go down. It's not okay to have your services down. It's okay for servers to go down because they do that, but it's not okay for your services to go down. It's a key distinction, okay? So think in terms of how can I keep my key services up all the time? Your servers are down, Google's going to notice. And your revenue is going to notice as well. Your sales will be down. And retention strategies. Use offline marketing. I'm not sure if that's really prevalent out here, but in the US, we know that offline marketing is extremely effective at user engagement. You mentioned before that offline leads to the purchase and then to online user experience. So we use personal letters snail mailed to our members, physical newsletter, branded small tokens of gifts that come unannounced as a surprise gift, and we differentiate to reward different tiers. So like members who really engage with your site, you want to reward them with more. So these are the mugs, made in China, of course, that we send our members who do the most with us. And then mouse pads too. Mugs are breaking when we were sending them international. I don't know how they come from China to the US without breaking, but they seem to break when we ship them out from the US. Site monetization. Some mistakes to avoid when monetizing your site. Now, too few contextual ads being displayed. And I'm talking contextual text ads. Okay? When I looked at a lot of the Chinese-based websites this prior week before coming here, I noticed that, wow, there's a lot of missing opportunity in using every single ad panel that was available, every single ad link unit that was available. So I would leverage every available one, and you also have to try to maintain, of course, a positive user experience. So you don't want to blow. My goal is 15%. I don't want my ads to exceed 15% of my content. Yours might be different. Also, failure to split test daily. That's yield management. That's what the ad manager actually helps with, is yield management. But failure to split test daily. In fact, if you might have somebody back at home or back at your office that could do that just for you, just do the split testing full time. It pays off. Failure to monetize early in your development cycle. Some people say, we don't need to have ads on this site yet. We're trying to get the market going. We're trying to get this thing going. It's like, no, you really need to start early in your monetization. Failure to repackage and repurpose your content. This is something that's in the US, we look at how can we repurpose and repackage every single bit of content that we receive. Because if we only earn money once, then we've missed the whole point of the internet and the opportunity that's provided to us. Failure to leverage email to drive revenue. That can be understated. Failure to focus on one primary core business. I want you to get narrow and go deep in that narrow niche. So whatever niche you're in, it's better to, instead of being wide and not narrow, if you will, it's better to go deep in your niche and become the best, become the most authoritative site in that niche. And you'll be rewarded, I think, much more if you do that. And lastly, failure to create an economy around and within your community. How can you create an economy where people in the forums start talking about how much money that they're making because they're part of your community, because they're part of your site, because they're buying and selling, because you're leading them to leads, or because something to do with an economy around your site. And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.